All right, if you've ever tried to write an automation script, you know that first step can be the most frustrating one, right? Just telling your code what to click on. Well, today we are going to solve that for good by mastering CSS selectors. Let's dive in.
So here's the game plan. We'll kick things off with the core challenge everyone faces. Then we'll get a quick understanding of CSS. From there, we'll learn exactly what selectors are and how to write them, walk through a real-world example, and then we'll wrap it all up by recapping your new foundational skill.
I mean, think about it. Before you can automate anything, a click, typing text, scraping data, you have to do this one thing first. Find the right element. It is the absolute foundation for everything else you're going to do. And that really is the heart of the problem, isn't it? You're looking at a web page, you can see the button right there, but how in the world do you tell your script to find that specific spot in a giant sea of code? It totally feels like finding a needle in a haystack.
Well, it turns out the answer to our problem lies in a language that, honestly, we all interact with every single day, CSS. So yeah, officially, CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. And really, all it is the language that tells a browser how to make a web page look pretty. It handles all the colors, the fonts, the layout, basically everything that makes a site look the way it does.
And this is the perfect way to think about it. If HTML is the blueprint of a house, the walls, the doors, the windows, then CSS is the interior designer. It's the one picking the paint colors, arranging the furniture, and setting the whole vibe. It is literally the web page's style guide. And hidden inside that style guide is the exact tool that we need to make our automation not just possible, but reliable.
Okay, so check this out. For a web designer, a selector is how they say, hey, find all the big headlines and make them blue. But for us in automation, we can hijack that same tool to say, hey, find that specific submit button so I can click it. See? It's the same tool, we're just using it for interaction.
This is probably the best analogy. A good selector isn't just the house on Main Street. Nope, it's got to be super specific. Like 123 Main Street, apartment 4B. It has to be a totally unique address that points to one and only one spot on the page. Okay, so how do we actually write one of these addresses? Let's crack the code. And you know what? The basic recipe is actually pretty simple. All right, let's break this down. First, you start with the HTML tag, something like input. Then you use square brackets. Inside those brackets, you put the attribute you're looking for, like ID, an equals sign, and then the exact value in quotes. So if you put it all together, input, ID equals first name, is basically just saying, go find me the input tag that has an ID attribute set to exactly first name. Simple as that. Now that works for literally any attribute, which is great. But, developers are all about efficiency. And since IDs are supposed to be unique on a page, CSS gives us this awesome little shortcut just for them. So on the left, you see the full syntax we just learned, and on the right, the shortcut. That little hash symbol, it's a special character that just means ID equals. That's it. So input hash first name does the exact same thing as a longer version. It's just cleaner, it's faster to type, and honestly, it's how you'll see the pros do it. All right. That's enough theory. Let's actually do this. We're going to find an element on a real web page right now. Okay, it's a really simple 4-step process. Step 1, go to the element you want, right-click it, and hit Inspect. Your developer tools will pop right up and highlight the code. Step 2, look right there in that highlighted code for the ID attribute. Easy. Step 3, now you just write your selector using our new shortcut, so the tag name, the hash symbol, and whatever the ID's value was. And finally, and this is super important, use the little search box in your dev tools to test it out. And when that search box comes back and says 1 of 1, that's the magic moment. That's your confirmation. It means your selector is unique, it's precise, and you can be totally confident that your automation script is going to hit the exact right element every single time. And just like that, finding elements on a web page isn't some dark art anymore. It's a reliable, repeatable process that you now have. So let's do a quick recap of what's in your new Superpower Toolkit.
You can now explain what CSS is, the web style guide. You can write out that basic selector syntax for any attribute. You know how to use that powerful hash shortcut for IDs. And most critically, you know how to verify that your selectors are unique, which is going to make your automation scripts so much more stable. You've basically gone from guesswork to a real engineering approach for targeting elements on a page. So the only question left is, now that you can reliably find pretty much any element, what are you going to build first?